My brothers and sisters, welcome to episode number 59 in the book of John. Happy New Year. Today's podcast drops on New Year's Day, so Happy New Year. And we're going to ask about how do you have a Happy New Year? Now, when we say this, most of the time it's kind of in the la-di-da category, rainbows and puppies. But here's the deal is we can have an effect and an impact of our actual New Year. Now, how is that? We can impact our circumstances sometimes, but for the most part, they're kind of imposed upon us. But you can affect the influence that your circumstances have on us, and we can do that all the time. So, what if I was to tell you then that maybe this year has 365 arduous days ahead of us? Perhaps it will. And that you'll have to fight through difficult occurrences or relationships or even temptations. But it's not your circumstances that is going to make this year happy or not. It's the happy habits, the happy disciplines, and the happy practices that will make this a happy year. So we've been in this series in John chapter 6 about practicing unsnatchability. And we've learned that we cannot be spiritually snatched out of God's hand. The Lord is good, He's faithful, He's powerful, He's merciful, He's so good to us. It is also true that believers refuse to be snatched. They make an effort, and we're going to see that in Peter here today. So as the calendar flips from one year to the next, or one set of 365 days to the next, we're going to ask what conduct can we emphasize that's going to make us stronger, less snatchable, and our year happier. So this is from John 6:66. After this, many disciples turned back and no longer walked with him. This is after he gave them some really hard teaching. Many of the disciples turned back and no longer walked with him. So Jesus said to the 12, "Do you want to go away as well?" Great question. Do you want to go away as well? Simon Peter answered him, "Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life, and we have believed and have come to know that you are the Holy One of God." So our call yesterday was to practice unsnatchability. And we're not saying let's do God's job. I'm saying to do the job that He has for us. So tragically stated here, it ends up that some people in this story, they're actually called disciples, which is even one of the most poignant parts of this. Disciples no longer walked with Him. So to do our job, we want to build habits, reinforce spiritual resiliency, and so this doesn't happen to us. Okay, so how do we practice spiritual unsnatchability? Three things. Number one, walk with Him. So in the story today, people end up not walking with Him. So setting our eyes and our hands and yes, our steps, so that in 365 more days, we are still walking. So let's kind of envision still be walking with Him 365 days from now. So maybe I'll still be doing this podcast. Maybe I would ask that you would walk with me as I walk with Him. Are you praying for this podcast? Are you praying for us? All right, second thing is turn towards Him. So walk with Him and then turn towards Him. So tragically stated here, they turn away. They turn their backs on Jesus. So people can and do turn their back on the Lord. They do it by what we set our minds to, or what we set our eyes upon, or what we set our words to do. And He's asking us to turn and face Him and talk to Him. So what might He have us talk to Him about? I was thinking a passage in Lamentations chapter 3, verses 22. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope in Him. The Lord is good to those who wait for Him, the soul that seeks Him. So it's good that one should wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. So here the author is reinforcing the Lord is good. Wait quietly before Him, maybe not silently, but just tell Him about His goodness, His provision, His mercy, His steadfastness. And then I want to end with this question that Jesus asks. He says to the 12, "Do you want to go away as well?" And Simon Peter has this great response, "Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life." So I love the questions of Jesus. And here's one to start the next 365 days, which is, what do you want? So Jesus just flat out asks the disciples, what do you want? Do you want to go away? Do you want to stay? And you have a lot to say here. Apparently, God is 100% sovereign in unsnatchability. And apparently, you are also 100% free to turn your back or turn towards and walk towards the Lord. So, what do you want? What do you want to have happen after 365 days? Let's be like Peter, where he says, where else can we go? Who else can we go to? Who has eternal life? And then he kind of says, no, we have believed in you. We are staying here. We're sticking here. We're going to walk here. So one of the points I'm trying to make is that whether you have a happy new year or not will depend on who you have the new year with. So let's build some practices of unsnatchability. I would say put yourself on the path of fellowship. Put yourself smack dab in the middle of the people of God. Put yourself in the path of service. It's the greatest secret of Christianity. And put yourself in the path of awe, which maybe could be, hey, join me tomorrow here at this podcast. As the Lord gives me insight and gives me days, I would humbly ask, hey, be with me tomorrow. Wouldn't it be cool to spend 365 7-minute mornings together? My guess is that it would be valuable for the both of us. So Jesus asks, what do you want? Are you staying or going? Let's make this next year a happy new year. How do we do that? Let's do it together with him. Thanks for listening.